Hello, Sunshine. This is a video more like in response to my good friend Eli, his suggestion. So I was chatting with him recently because I kind of went through a little bit of I feel like it's a bit of like the depression coming back, but it's hard to describe. Depression kind of shows up in so many different ways for different people. The one I was experiencing was more like I was kind of feeling a little bit lost. I was feeling a little bit like, when you're around people, but you kind of feel alone and you kind of feel like everything's not quite hitting. Did you say going to come up? Everything's not quite feeling the energy or like kind of hitting the spot. Like you're not really getting, I guess, the dopamine out of things. Anyway, so his suggestion was, sometimes you write down the stuff that you achieved, and it might be cool to look back on those things. And it's just my friend's cat. So I thought I'd go through one of my little lists because I had this bucket list completed kind of thing. And it's just like things that I've achieved, not necessarily bucket list, but like big moments. So let's just have a look at some of the things. I actually need to update this. It says built a whale. It's actually one of those little paper whale projects. And I hung it up on my room. That was pretty cool. I actually did really enjoy doing that. Got my Sam Tompkins CD, which I talked about in the newest episode, so you can go and check that out. Yeah, actually open it up finally and look inside. What does it say? Oh, built apps on Base 44. It's a free kind of app building app. And essentially I tried to build like two apps. One was for recipes, uploading and sort of buying recipes that I've made. And the other one was kind of like an idea of where you can kind of check in somewhere and then other people can kind of go and just make friends with you. Beach and body, that's kind of based off, I guess, like the body dysmorphia, beach and body positivity, going to the beach episode. There you go, drop-in app, that was the Base 44 app. A lot of these are just kind of like as I thought of them. What else do we have? Merch art for Eli. So if you don't know, Eli's a good friend of mine that I met through a personal growth group by a personal coach that Tika is basically running. So he's the personal coach for us, and I met him through that, and he saw my artworks and eventually asked me to collaborate for his debut album coming up this year, and I'm doing the merch art for him, so that's in the process. Sam Tompkins CDs, kind of doubled up on some of these, I guess. We'll just do quite a few of these until I feel enough, I guess, or whenever I get bored. Oh, worked out Zoom meetings. If you know me, trying to figure out how to like do overseas kind of calls or interviews for like episodes is one of the biggest challenges always for How to Blaze podcast. I had a moment of issue with dropping out with one of my friends, Anthony or Tony, and we became friends again. So that's super, super cool. Laundry basket and table space. So I think that was like me working on my room. You're going to see some videos. I'm going to upload a short about like showing how I've upgraded my room, kind of like played around with spaces and repainted stuff and shit, I was more disciplined this year. I was uploading 3 times a year, 3 times a week, 3 times a week. And, season 3 has been the biggest episode so far because of that. We already hit like 40 something episodes, and other seasons so far before season 3 were just up to like 20 something for a year. So, that's a huge difference. Obviously I dropped off the bandwagon a little bit, somewhat. But that's just because I was sick for a little bit, and I also was going through a little bit of mental health crisis. Atomic Habits and Attached, 2 books that I'm reading. So I used to hate reading after going to school because, I struggle a lot in school, and school materials, I think, like in school, the way they kind of work with you with books in English just made literature really hard to enjoy. And, I'm just glad to be in a place where I can enjoy books and reading again. growth in Spotify and YouTube and TikTok growth. That's particularly true with YouTube. If you really want to support me anywhere, I would say support me on YouTube, because that one's the closest to getting monetized. And that would really, really help me. Doing Breezy's hats, that's a huge one. Shout out to Breezy. It's actually quite a lot. I think I'll just do a couple more. I'll save the rest for the end of the year. Fly By Midnight concert, that was a huge one. I remember the first reason why I made my first hat was because I wanted Fly By Midnight merch at the time. And, I remember I looked up their hat and it was like going to cost $80 something just to ship one hat over from the US. So I was just like, you know what, I can't afford that. So I'm just going to make my own and then wait for them to, eventually come by, hopefully to Australia, and I can buy their merch in person, which hopefully will be a lot cheaper. And finally, this year they did, and I went to Fly By Midnight's concert and I got their merch. And it's getting cold now, so I'm going to have more chance to read it, to wear it, not read it. Fly By Midnight beanie. I know I said like I love hats, but like beanies are also really, really loved. It's just one of the hats that I first was able to wear, because it took me a while to figure out how to wear normal caps because my head's so small and it's just the way my hair is. It just doesn't look cool. It doesn't look good. I don't like how I look in it. But now I can kind of work with it. Anyway, that's enough rant for today. Thank you, Eli, for the suggestion. That actually really did help. And yeah, thanks for joining me on this video.